All right, guys, here we go. You can see I've got this Google Keep up. That's what we're going to be looking at for this example. So we should be on this table right here. This is a pretty common thing in chemistry, filling out these tables, doing some manipulations so you can find protons, neutrons, electrons, etc. Right now, you can see the things we're going to focus on: the name, the symbol, the protons, the electrons, how many electrons were lost or gained, the charge, and the symbol. To do this stuff, you're going to need your periodic table. And guys, we're going to use this periodic table a lot, constantly referring to that. This is chemistry, and so it's kind of the thing that we're going to be looking at. And so first thing is if you look, it's magnesium. So right there, you got to find magnesium on periodic table, but it's right there, left side, column 2, and you can see the symbol is going to be Mg. And so we're going to go ahead where it says symbol, and you can write this in. Once again, if you don't have the ability to print this, just recreate this table on a piece of notebook paper, and you'll be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and put Mg there, capital M, lowercase g. The symbols are always going to run like that, a capital and a lowercase, all right? Protons. Okay, so think back. We just learned this. Protons are going to be the top number. The top number is 12 for magnesium, right? So you see that top number is 12. So we'll come over here. And I had to abbreviate it. I was going to run out of space, so just P plus for protons. So number of protons, that's going to be 12. Now, they gave us the electrons. They're like, here you go. Here's the electrons. Don't have to figure them out. So we need to look at this right here that says electrons lost or gained. Electrons lost or gained. So we're right there in this column right here, electrons lost or gained. So let's think about it. Did we lose electrons or did we gain electrons? Well, the way to figure it out is that you always are supposed to have the same number of electrons as protons. That's normal. That's called an atom. This is not an atom because the numbers are going to be different. And so what we have here is this is what we call an ion, all right? It's an ion because the protons and the electrons are not going to be the same. So this is going to be an ion, all right? So let's go ahead and take a look at electrons lost or gained. So this particular situation, we had 12, we had 12, we now have 10. So we lost how many? Well, we lost 2 electrons. Lost 2 electrons. Lost 2. However you want to put that in there. All right, overall charge. So the overall charge is, what is the charge now? So the charge starts at 0. And so 0 would be when the protons and the electrons are equal. But we want to remember, we're going to go get a different color pen here. We want to remember that the protons, they represent a +1, and the electrons represent a -1. So if we want to figure out the overall charge, what we're going to do is we're going to take, whoops, don't want that. We're going to take our 12 protons minus our 10 electrons, and then that is going to equal 12 minus 10. That's going to equal, I'm going to put that in green actually. That's going to equal +2. So when you're doing this, I would write 12 minus 10 in that box to help you remember. The symbol, okay, the symbol now, we have to include the charge. So the old symbol would look like this, magnesium. But the new symbol has to show the charge because it's not a charge of 0. It is a charge of +2. So I'm going to put that in the upper right-hand corner of the elemental symbol. So Mg +2 says, hey, this guy's got a charge of +2 because he's an ion. This is not an atom anymore. All right, so let's take a look at the next one. We've got oxygen. Kind of gave that away. I guess we'll figure that out in a minute, though. So put O here. And it also gets a 10. So if you look up O, as I said a minute ago, you're going to find out that that is oxygen. All right, so not Too surprising. Kind of gave that away up here. Boom, there it is. O is oxygen. You're going to figure that one out pretty darn quick because that one is super common. Oh, protons. We're going to figure out protons. So the way to figure protons out is we're going to go to our periodic table, and we're going to simply look at the top. Oh, right there. Look at oxygen. Look at that top number. Top number is 8. Oxygen is the only one with that number. So we're going to go ahead and put that right there. Okay. So lost or gained electrons. And so now look, the electrons are greater. So we had 8 protons. Now we have, it was 8 and 8. Now it's 8 and 10. So do we lose or gain? We gained because we have more electrons. So it's going to be gain. And that's going to be gain 2 electrons. Or you can just put gain 2. Let me do the old purple thing here, the pen again. So that I want to do the math on this just so that you remember. I think it's really important to write that down. So we're going to do 8. Oop, wrong pen color. Sorry about that. Didn't hit the purple. Here we go. It's going to be 8 minus 10. I mean, you kids are awesome at math. I know you are. 8 minus 10 is going to be minus 2. So that should be pretty darn easy. Okay. So new symbol, we're going to take our O and we're going to put up in the corner, it gets the minus 2. So that's to tell whoever's looking at our element that it's not a normal atom. Once again, just like I talked about a minute ago, this is not a normal situation. This is going to be an ion. This is also an ion. All right. Let's take a look at aluminum, which is the next one. So aluminum, I'm going to go ahead and write that in here. Now the aluminum also gets 10 electrons. So go ahead and put that right there. And they didn't give us any other information. So we're going to come over here. There's aluminum right there. Number 13, Al. Number 13, Al. So we're going to put an Al here for aluminum. And we're going to put protons is going to be 13. Okay, now if you forgot how we're getting that, protons is just the top number. See that 13 right there? Don't worry about that number at the bottom right now. We're not going to use that right now, just focusing on that top number. Okay, do we gain or lose? Well, we had 13 and 13, but we now have 13 and 10. So we lost 3 electrons. All right, we lost 3 electrons. And then we're going to do our math, switch over real quick. I'm going to go ahead and do 13 minus 10. That's going to be the plus 3. And I think you guys are starting to probably figure this out. So that was going to be an Al plus 3. So this is also an ion. This is a plus 3 ion. So these are all ions so far. Okay, our next one is an Al. Oh, we've had an Al before. So that is not 100% brand new. So we'll put an Al here. It has 13 electrons. So this is aluminum. So same thing as we had a minute ago. I'm going to go ahead and put that. I'm going to slide this up a bit so I got a little more space. Well, aluminum is aluminum. So if we go back and look, aluminum's still 13. That's never going to change because they're both aluminum. Because remember, this is protons, and that's what makes aluminum aluminum. So it's got the 13. Now, did it lose or gain? Well, 0. It lost or gained 0. So it lost or gained electrons. It's 0. Or maybe you want to just put an X in there. It didn't lose or gain any. So what that means is that this is not an ion. This is going to be an atom. Okay, so an atom, the reason it's an atom is because these two numbers are the same. So its electrons So it's protons equal electrons, and that's an atom. And so it is different than other things we've been looking at because these are equal. All right. So maybe you want to go and put an equal right there. All right. So it's going to be our overall charge. Well, our overall charge is going to be 13 minus 13, which is 0, which is good because atoms are always going to have a charge of 0. And so this is just going to be an Al. So the difference here is that you have an aluminum ion up here, and you have an aluminum atom. So we're learning some of that chemistry vocabulary, some of that chemistry terminology. All right, so last one real quick. Going to run through that one super fast. Going to slide this up. So that's going to be nitrogen. So the nitrogen, and the nitrogen, they told us it's a 10 for the electrons. We got to figure everything else out. So we go here. Nitrogen's right there, number 7. Number 7. So I'm going to come back over here. The symbol is N. It's a 7. So 7 minus 10. 7 minus 10 would be -3. Oh, sorry. I forgot this column here. Did it gain or lose? Well, it gained. How many did it gain? It's going to gain 3 electrons. I should probably put this in there for you. I'm going to do the 7 minus 10. And we'll finish it out with the symbol. N is the symbol, but now it has a -3 in the corner. Okay, so guys, that takes care of that example. I'm going to stop this example here because I don't want to run out of time on this.